This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So here, the next topic would be workflows. Okay. Let's talk about workflow. So from a definition point of view, workflow is a process which will run on the background and it will do some kind of crude operation with limited features, you can say. Okay. So why I said a limited feature means, so it will perform only specific functionalities that I'll show you what exactly it will do. Okay. Before we are going to discuss about workflows, we need to understand two terminologies in the CRM application. One is synchronous and another thing is asynchronous. There are two words which it will come as like from starting of your development to like up to whatever the bugs issues everywhere is there. The synchronous asynchronous concept will come into picture. What does it mean actually? If you are CSC background student, okay, and if you have operating system as a subject in your studies, so you will be understanding couple of things. Okay, basically how the operating system will work, right? So each and every functionality or each and every concept will be like a execution. Okay, each and every process will be executed in a certain way. The memory is available. For example, let's understand one thing. You have a 2 GB RAM, okay, and you are trying to install the PUBG game, right? Is it going to work? Because it will not allow, because the PUBG game, it will accept, it will work minimum 8 GB RAM or maybe 4 to 5 GB RAM, right? Because it required some memory to execute that PUBG game process in your mobile application. Okay, so that is the way this, if you want to execute any kind of functionality in any operating system, so you must be required a memory for that. Okay, memory is a resource for the process to execute. Okay, it's like a simple theoretical stuff. Just understand, if you have a memory more, the process will execute speed, and if you do not have, it will slow down or it will wait until that memory is free down. Okay, so that's how a process execution will be there in the operating system. Based on that knowledge, when you think about this synchronous asynchronous, okay, synchronous processes will work immediate effect without any kind of interruption. Okay, you can say VIP, VIP passengers or VIPs, you can say VIP devotees. Okay, so and asynchronous is like a, it will look for the memory in the system, and if the resources are, if the memory is available in the system, then only it will be executed. Okay, which you can say ordinary. Take example of Tirumala. Okay, if you want to go for Tirumala darshan, like if you are like a CM, you will be having a red carpet and followed by everything. It's like it will happen immediately. Okay, and you can directly go without any queue or without anything. You can directly walk in and you can take a darshan and you can come back, right? So that's a immediate process will happen. And the infrastructure, it's not about things. The setup has been done for CM or any celebrities is like that. And when it comes to ordinary devotees, you have to take a ticket if it is possible or if it is required, or you have to stand in the queue and wait for your time to come. Okay. Then once you enter into the like a temple, and you can get darshan there. So similar fashion, asynchronous process also will be executed in a queue process. Okay, let me show you the architecture diagram for the CRM application. Where is this? Right. This is the CRM architecture diagram. You see here where the synchronous process is running. You see this is the plugin assembly. Whatever the synchronous process are there, they're executing immediately in the CRM core system. But when it comes to asynchronous processes, see, it will be queued in the asynchronous queue. Okay, will be handled by queue manager. And once is there, it will keep on, will check the memory is available or not. Then once the memory is available in this system, so then the queue will be pushed to execution engine here, and it will be working with a database. So there is a asynchronous queue agent, asynchronous queue, asynchronous queue manager. These three components will work to accommodate the asynchronous process execution. Okay, that is the high level structure of the synchronous and asynchronous functionalities. Okay, just have an idea. Synchronous will execute immediately, asynchronous will execute depends on the memory availability, and synchronous processes will be executed by CRM core engine. Okay, and when it comes to asynchronous queues will be executed by the asynchronous services, and that's how it will work. Okay, right. Now let's go to CRM functionality. CRM, there are two types of workflows. You understand just now synchronous and asynchronous. When it comes to workflow terminology, they'll be call it as a real-time workflows, and asynchronous workflow means background workflows, right? So these are the terminology which we will use for workflows. I'll show you how it looks like. Now let's go to CRM system. Advanced settings. In the last class, we have seen one of the process type as a business process flow. Similar way, workflow also is a part of or is a type of process. Okay, let's open our application. Right. Now go to processes. Now you see you have created one of the process called business process flow. Let's create one more process. Demo workflow. So you have to select as a workflow. Now you see run this workflow in the background. This when you check this one, this is a background workflow. And there are two ways that you can create a workflow. One, you can create from a template. You have to define that workflow as a template and you can reuse it. Generally, we will not go that one. It's a simple, straightforward way. We'll go with a blank process. And on which entity you are trying to trigger this functionality. It's a patient entity. Let's take a patient entity now. Remember, we have unchecked this one. Okay, we have not checked. If you check this one, it will be like a background process. And if you uncheck it one, it is a real-time process. Click on save. Right. Now we will see the properties which is available. For example, first thing, administration. Who is the owner of this work? This I will explain when we talk about security module. Once you understand ownership concept, then you will see what is this functionality. Notes, if you want to give any kind of details or any attachment, you can use this functionality. Okay. Coming to here, workflow, process name and activate as process. And if you want to create any template, you can use this one. So generally will not use mostly, but on which entity and what is the category. Keep the logs for workflow jobs that encounter the errors. If there is any error occurred, and if you want to see that log messages, you can see in the process session. Okay. And if you don't want to see that process session, you can uncheck this functionality. Generally, we'll keep this one as is. Now coming to this is how you are going to run, and this is the trigger points. Both are similar way, but this is like a one of the manual process. Okay, and this is like a event happens when you want to trigger it. Okay, if you created a child process as a child process, it's like a you can trigger this flow, this process from another process. I will tell you how to use this one. Right now, I want to show you two type of workflows. First thing, I'm not going to check this one. Let it be as is. Keep the scope as organization. We'll talk about this scope once we understand the security module. Okay, right. Now, I'm not going to set up this one. This is like a ownership again, right? And what I will do, set as an on-demand process. And this is a, if you uncheck this functionality, it's a real-time workflow, which is a synchronous process. Now what I'll do, I'll click on this one, add steps. Just see what I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm just creating one record here. I will explain again, but just have an idea of how the differentiation would be there. Select report document. Set properties. Right. So workflow. Okay, now whatever it is there, and I am not going to select this. There is a patient, add it, right? And for this one, I would like to use one more option called process execution time and when it is started. Okay, save and close. Okay, right now what we have done, we have created a workflow with the type as a real-time process. Save, activate this. Right, we have activated one workflow which is an on-demand workflow. Now let's try to run this workflow, which is a manual. I'll select this one, or I can open this. Okay, so how many records are there right now? Right, now how to trigger a on-demand workflow? You see there is a 3 dots. Click on flow, and in this flow you will be having a workflow which you have created, demo workflow which you have created. Okay, let's click on this one. You see within a fraction of seconds. Okay, so how much time it is taking? Let's say, because this is a synchronous process which will execute immediately. See, it is auto refreshing. It is not like waiting for someone. When you trigger something, it is auto refreshing and you can see the entry of this records. So there is no much delay. Try to convert this into asynchronous. Okay, now how to convert this into asynchronous workflow? Converted to background. Come on. What happened? Right. Now you see when you convert to background workflow, you can see there is a checkbox is available. And this is also one of the way of workflow job retention automatically delete the completed workflows is one. No, I'm not going to delete this. Save, activate. Right. Now let's look at the same thing what we have done so far and see how much time it is going to take to execute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see it is refreshed, but still the record not yet created. And if I refresh this one, still see now it created. If you see when I trigger, like maybe if I count for 15, after 15 count only it is created. Okay, so that is the functional, that is the straightforward difference between synchronous process and asynchronous process. Okay, synchronous process will be executed immediately. Asynchronous process wait for some time to see whether the memory is available or not, because we have not changed anything in the system. We have just created workflow which is synchronous. When I trigger that, it immediately created. because it is execution by CRM core engine. And when it comes to asynchronous, it is executed by asynchronous queue service. Okay, are you guys following? Okay, I'll consider as yes. Okay, that is the high level demo which I can show you difference between synchronous and asynchronous process, where you can see directly the difference between two execution time, right? Now, on the basis of this one, let's understand the remaining properties. First thing, we have seen how to trigger a on-demand process. We will see later as a child process. Okay, I'll come back to this point a little bit later. Coming to triggers. Okay, remember this is the very much important thing which you need to understand. What is a trigger for this? This is a manual trigger which you have done. What I'll do, I'll convert to real time so that we will see the immediate result. We don't need to wait for some time. Now start when, and this one record is created. When once you, this is very much important. When I'm clicking on new, I'll fill some data. So if I'm clicking on the save, that is a creating of the record, and on that is like a inserting a data in the table. So on that event, I can go ahead and I can trigger some of the process. That is nothing but the on record creation. I will show you that. On record status change, which is something like a activate deactivate. I will show you this one how it works. Record assigned to, if that record is assigned to someone else, so that also you can trigger this process. Now a record fields change, you can select all and you can select none, and you can select any one of this. Let's say disease field, right? And record deleted, before the record is deletion, you can trigger the flow, workflow. Okay, now let's understand how when it is triggering. Okay, one by one, same thing, because we have tracked the time, right? So we don't need to worry, and we can see something called okay. Now what I will do, I will add some more data here. Keep it aside, space, and I will add some full name, so that I'm keep on changing this value so that it will be updated, right? Full name, okay, plus execution time as well. So two things also there, full name I'm adding, and this one also I'm adding to represent whether that triggered or not. Save and close. Now my process is going to trigger on these many times. Okay, save, activate, right? Okay, first and foremost thing, creating of the record. Okay, create a record. Okay, save. You see the background process is running. That's why it takes time to execute, right? Now, if I go here, create a record is a full name, which means that on create of this record, I have triggered a process, which is a workflow. Okay, this is a first thing. And the second thing, if I deactivate means it is a status change. Let's deactivate this. Okay, you see one more process is triggered and activate this. One more process is triggered. Okay, which means that on status change also you can trigger the process. And we have given one field update. Okay, so this is a cancer update. On update of also you can see a process is going to trigger and it will create a record. Okay, with the workflow, you see here, one we have seen first thing, status changes, two also we have seen, update of the field we have seen. Okay, let's delete this one and I want to see the 21 records are there. Now what I will do, I will delete this record right now. Anything is fine. I can delete right now. Anything is there. Delete it there. Maybe that we have done something else, relationship point of view. Let's see whether this is triggered or not. No, it's not. Maybe the workflow which we have used in the properties, so that might failing. Fine, it's fine. Let's see, is there any error? No. Let me delete this. Is there any child records for this? Yeah, I have deleted one. Sorry, not this. Let me delete it. Why? Do we have any records? No. Deleting a parent will delete all the records under the patient as well. Okay, maybe this workflow is causing that issue because we have used uh, the create and which is linking with some patient as well. So that's why it is making some issue. That's fine. But so let me deactivate this, whether it is going to, I just want to show you on the delete also whether it is triggering or not. Now I will deactivate this. Let's see if I'm deleting this. Now you see, without any issue, the record is deleted, which means that, so this process is going to trigger on delete as well. So that is the functionality that I would like to show you. Okay. So now we were able to see triggering of workflow on create, update, delete, and the similar way when you try to change this record assign. So changing the owner. So if you change it to some other else person, for example, let's say this one assign. Okay. On the change of that also, your workflow is going to be triggered. That is the record is assigned. Whenever the record is owner is changed, that way there also you can trigger the workflow. Okay. This is a very much important thing which you need to understand before you are going to start the workflow design. Okay, create, update, assign, status change, delete. These are 5 situations you can trigger the workflow. Are you guys following? Okay, can I take it as yes? Okay, no problem. Right. Now we have seen how to trigger from on demand, how to trigger from a background, right? Now let's see what workflow is going to do. I will remove this. Workflow will mainly deals with if and else class. If and else clause. So mainly the workflow will work with only if and else clause. What does that mean actually? Okay, let's see what are the steps is available inside the workflow. If I click on this one, add step, I can see there is some number of steps is available. Let's take a screenshot of this. Okay, stage is all about a simple way that you are representing some set of functionalities. Actually, it doesn't have any specific background functionality. You can just highlight this one. This is demo stage. Now I am updating something which I can add, and I'm going to add one more thing. Let's select this and click on create something. So I'm not specifying anything. I just want to show you how the stage is going to work. See, you have a two crude operation that is there in one stage. Forget about error, and I'm going to add one more stage. Okay, now you see this is one stage and this is one stage. So this is how you can segregate your workflow for visualization purpose. Whenever someone opens your workflow, if you want to like put some proper comment, of course for every component there is a description, you can add it. But if you want to separate, let's say this is a set of functionality and this is a set of functionality, so for that purpose you can use this stage and it doesn't have any impact on the workflow execution. It will work in the same way how it was working without stage. Okay, there is no much impact on this. I will remove this now, right? Let me remove this. Right, I will remove this one as well. Now what I will do, I will remove all these things. I'll just show you because whenever the requirement comes, so you have to select which way where you need to trigger this process. Okay, right now to demo you, I'll just show you the on demand by clicking manually. Okay, right. Now here, let's see what are the things is available. Now you see, I'll select this row and click on add step. And now you see check condition. This is the if else functionality. See here, if this condition is satisfied, then only execute this step. Otherwise, you execute another thing. First, set the condition. when you are clicking on that condition concept, what I will do, take the current entity, take the, let's say, disease is equal to cancer. I'm just giving a one condition. Save. Right now, what I will do, I will just send an email. Okay, if this is a, I'm just using, okay, so parallelly I'm trying to use this concept and this concept as well. So on patient disease equal to cancer, I'm just sending an email to the customer, your disease as finalized as a cancer. Now you see, this is the email setup, okay, where you can send an email from whom you are trying to send. This is like created by or whoever the owner is there, or modified by or owner. Whoever you want, you can put the user thing there, or you can hard code that value as well. Now to whom you are trying to send it. So this is a contact and that specific person. What is the subject? Disease confirmation notification. Hi, you see, and I would like to pass the dynamic value. It's a full name. Done. You see, this is a dynamic value. Hi. Uh, this is notification from Apollo management that your disease confirmed as, let's populate the dynamic value again as a disease. Done. Okay, and please reach out hospital for the next necessary actions. Regards, management. Okay, you can just type something which is some, it makes sense. Okay, save and close. Now what I have done, I have used one condition where if the disease equal to cancer, and I'm sending a email. Okay, sending a email is one of the functionality in the workflow. Okay, right. Now coming to, click on this one. You see, selecting a row, this row is different, this row is different. If I select only this one, you see the blue color, and if I go here, there is no conditional branch enabled. But when I select this row, and if I click on this one, a conditional branch will be opened. If I click on this one, you see there is a if this condition, otherwise if, it's like a else if. Click on this. Now same condition I'm going to set, patient disease equal to corona. Save and close. Now we have seen how to send an email, right? The similar way, I would like to send, I would like to use one more functionality called update the record. This functionality will update the same record which workflow is going to run. Okay, so patient set properties. Okay, whatever you are seeing in the right side, this we call it as the form assistance, and it will show you the fields which you can add as a dynamic content. How to add this dynamic content? For example, if you want to update, let's say, personal note. Okay, I just want to show you how it's there. Now, dynamic content. There are multiple ways dynamic content, related entities are there, and processes there. Okay, process is something called, this is a inbuilt function, like some standard properties when the process is executing. Activity count including a process, execution time. These two I have never used. Execution time is like when the process is executed. Okay, execution time. So there is a dynamic value which is available, and now I can add some data here. This is demo for that record updated from workflow. Okay, and I have used the time as well. When the process is executed also we can see that. Let's save. Right, now we have used if, else if. Now I want to see else default condition. It's a default condition. Okay, so in this one also I can use something called let's say one more concept called change status. Change status is nothing but making the record activate inactive. You see, I will make it as inactive. Now with this workflow we can see three if else conditions and three components are the functionalities that we have used. Now let's save this one. Activate it. Now let's understand one by one. Let me go to one of the person and confirm the disease here. Okay, let's say not corona or cancer. Okay, save, because we are not triggering on the update of this record. That's why there is no change. Now I will go here and I will click on this flows because we are running on the on demand. You see, the workflow has triggered and it made the record as inactive because the disease field is not corona or cancer. Now let's activate this. Cancer or save, trigger the flow. Okay, how do I see whether this email is created or not? Go to activities. Let's see, is there any email is available? Let me go to all activities. See, there's a one email which is created, disease confirmation notification. If I open this and we have added some dynamic content. What is that? Let's see. Hi, so and so person, and this is notification from Apollo management that your disease confirmed as a cancer, right? This is also dynamic content. And please reach out to the hospital. This is what we have done as a email configuration setup, right? Okay, that is a one email sending functionality. If I put it as a corona, save, update, demo workflow. Now, if I go to personal note, you see 3 2, this is the time. This is a demo for the record updated from workflow. Now, what is this time? 8:48, right? Let it go to 8:49. Then again, if you run this workflow, again it will update the time values. Let's see. 48. Let it be 49. Yeah, now it is 49, right? Again, I'll run the workflow. Now you see, this is updated as a time because the workflow has ran on 8:49 a.m. and it is updated same data. This is the static data that we have typed, but this is the dynamic content that we have given as a process execution time. Okay, are we clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, so that's it for today. We will continue more explanation about this one. We'll try to do all these things and we'll continue tomorrow. Try to practice